Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be trying out a new foundation from Colourpop. Well, actually it's a new tinted moisturizer. I placed an order on the day they launched this, and I know there's been some reviews posted, so I'm a little bit late on this, but I'm gonna review it anyway for you guys because I personally was really intrigued by this launch. I picked up two shades just to make sure. Hopefully one of them matched me, but we're gonna be talking about the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer from Colourpop. So I bought the tinted moisturizer, and I also bought the Pretty Fresh set that has their new sponge. There's also a new hydrating hyaluronic primer and also a new hyaluronic setting mist. So I'm really excited about all these things. Let's just hop right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and wet the sponge, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like before I wet it so we can see how much it expands. It feels super soft. I actually have really high hopes for this sponge. I'm very picky when it comes to sponges, but this kind of feels like something I'm gonna like. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this under the sink for a second, and I'll be right back and we will put on some foundation. All right, I'm back. Here's what the sponge looks like. Full size after you wet it underneath the sink. I'm seriously so excited to try the sponge. I did just buy the set, but you can get all three of these things separately, just so you know, and I think the sponge separately is $7, so it's a really good price if it's a good sponge. I'm excited to test it out. All right, so let's go ahead and find the primer. The packaging is so cute. I feel like Colourpop does such a good job with packaging. So this is the primer. It's the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Primer. It's so cute. I love the peach color. It just fits the whole Pretty Fresh theme in my opinion. There's a pump on it, which I personally really like for primers. Let's go ahead and apply this to the skin. Okay, so here's the texture. It's pretty runny, and this primer says it's lightweight, hydrating, and it refreshes and preps the skin for makeup. It's ideal for combo, dry, and normal skin types. So I personally have combination skin, so apparently this will be good for my skin. I actually really like the smell. It smells like coconut. I believe that there's coconut water in here. Yeah, which does not break out the skin like coconut oil, as far as I'm concerned. I need to ask my esthetician actually what she thinks about that, but I know for sure she always tells me, do not put coconut oil on your face, but coconut water is not coconut oil. So I'm assuming that it doesn't break you out, but that's just me assuming, so I need to do my research. It kind of has like a coconut tropical scent, but it's not too intense, which is something that I personally like. Alrighty, let's try out the tinted moisturizer. I picked up the shade Light 5N and Fair 4N. I just didn't know which one I would be. They both look pretty similar, honestly. I'm gonna swatch them just to see which one is a better match. Look at this packaging though. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. It's kind of like a frosted plastic, and it has a pump on the end. I love this kind of packaging. It seems like there's a lot of product in here. How much product is in this? Okay, wow, it's 1.45 fluid ounces, usually in a foundation or even most tinted moisturizers, I think. Let me see the Laura Mercier one. Oh, okay. In tinted moisturizers, there seems to be a little bit more product than there are in foundation. So the Laura Mercier one has 1.7 fluid ounces, and this one is 1.45. So you get quite a bit of product in here. Oh, by the way, the primer retails for $12, and then the tinted moisturizer retails for $14. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch both colors. So this one is Light 4N. Okay, that seems to match pretty well. And then this one is Fair 4N. This one is Light 5N. Honestly, I feel like I could wear either. Okay. I'm gonna go for Light 5N. I'm gonna do one pump on the back of my hand. I just wanna see how far that goes. So it says you can either use your fingers or a sponge. I'm gonna use the sponge. I'm just gonna take it off the back of my hand, and I'm gonna start to build this up on the cheeks. And it says that this is a hydrating tinted moisturizer with skin perfecting lightweight coverage for fresh, healthy looking skin. That sounds fabulous. You know, it's funny because I don't always wear tinted moisturizers. Like, I've never really been someone to love them, just because I personally like a little bit more coverage. So I usually go for like a CC cream that's gonna give me more coverage if I want more of that lightweight feel to the skin. So that was one pump on the side of my face. I feel like it evened out the skin, but it honestly doesn't look like I have anything on the skin. I'm just gonna build this up until I get the coverage that I'm looking for. So I just put another pump on my hand, and I'm just gonna build it up on this side of the face. This sponge feels so good. It's super soft. It has just the right amount of bounce. I'm so excited about it because, like I said, I am really picky with my sponges. I just like a certain texture, and this fits all of my wants when it comes to a good sponge. So, okay, I'm just blending that out a little bit. So like I said before, I already know there's reviews on this on YouTube. I haven't watched any because I truly just wanted to see what my thoughts would be without seeing anybody else wear it, you know? So we'll see how it goes today. Okay, so there's one layer, 2 pumps for my entire face. I do feel like it evened things out a little bit, but it also did not provide like tons of coverage. It kind of seems to be clinging to any dry areas like this blemish right here. But up close, it does look really fresh. It doesn't look like I'm wearing anything. And I know there's so many people who love products like that. For me, I always do love a little bit more coverage, but at the same time, I've been really into a little bit of a lighter weight base and then using concealer to spot conceal. So I'm gonna let that sit for just 2 seconds, and then I wanna try to build up a little bit more coverage on the cheeks. I just don't know if it's possible to really build up or not. So I'm just gonna wait a couple seconds. It feels like nothing on the skin, which is also really nice. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud. Okay, let's go ahead and try to take a little bit more product and build it up over the cheeks. Okay, I do feel like that helped a little bit more. It's definitely like very sheer buildable coverage, but it's a tinted moisturizer, so I wasn't really expecting more coverage in this, I guess. But it is nice to know that if, you know, you have to, you can build up just to cover up the redness. The blemishes, I don't really care if like blemishes are showing through. I just want my redness to be covered. And for me, it took layering to kind of get that to where I wanted it. Here's what the skin looks like up close. It's very radiant, very fresh, but there's no like glittery particles in the tinted moisturizer, and it just looks glowy and it feels hydrated. So I like how it feels. I wonder if applying it with a brush would have added more coverage. I probably should have done that. And that's what I normally do. I was just really excited about this sponge for some reason. All right, let's go ahead and conceal the under eye area. I'm gonna use this concealer. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I'm just going to apply it right in the area that I need it. I don't really want to cover up too much of like the cheek area just because I want to see how that wears, but I also need to use it to cover up the blemishes a little bit. So I'm just dotting it over top of any areas that I want a little bit more coverage. I'm going to try to leave the forehead as is though. And I'm just going to take that same sponge, I'm just going to blend out the concealer. I don't really know if this tinted moisturizer has any claims for being long wearing. All it says on the side is that it's dermatologist tested, oil-free, gluten-free, paraben-free, and vegan. When it comes to like tinted moisturizers, I don't really expect them to have, you know, 12-hour wear, but we will see. I'm going to do a wear test anyways. Okay, so that's how things look with concealer under the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and set the face with powder. I'm wanting to do all of this part on camera so you guys can kind of see how the complexion looks, and then I'll just speed through doing the rest of my makeup. Let's go ahead and use the Thrive Cosmetics powder for this. I'm wanting to use products that I'm really familiar with, that are like tried and true, so that I know how the tinted moisturizer is actually wearing. So I'm going to take some of that Thrive Cosmetics powder, and I'm going to use that to set the under eye area. I feel like everybody's different when it comes to setting their makeup, especially when it comes to like tinted moisturizers. I personally will set anything. I just feel like I need powder no matter what the product is, just to make sure it lasts as long as possible. And I also need the coverage, so I don't want it to fade off my skin. So I like to set the entire face. I'm going to take that same powder and I'm just going to go ahead and lightly press it over the cheeks, over the jawline, on the nose, basically the whole face. All right, so that's the complexion with the tinted moisturizer, concealer, and then some powder. Obviously, you can still see my skin through that, which part of me is like, you know, if I'm gonna put something on my face, I want it to be a little bit more of a full coverage than this. But then the other half of me is like, you know what, it kind of looks nice and it looks more natural because my skin's showing through. So I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. And I feel like that's the case with just tinted moisturizers in general. But we're gonna continue. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the makeup. I'm just gonna go through that really quick off camera so that we can get to our wear test. So here's what things are looking like without bronzer or blush or anything, and I will see you guys in just a second. All right, so I just finished my makeup. I wanted to keep it, I was gonna say pretty fresh, very fitting, but honestly I did want to keep it nice and natural and fresh so that we can see how the tinted moisturizer wears, and I just feel like a tinted moisturizer lends itself to more of a natural, everyday kind of a look. So I'm just gonna make sure we've got enough bronzer. By the way, if you wanna know all the products that I use, I will have that listed and linked down below. Let's go ahead and use the Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. This mist says it's a microfine, refreshing setting mist that hydrates for healthy looking skin, and it's ideal for all skin types. All right, let's see how this goes. It kind of looked like it was gonna spit at me, but we'll see. Oh. No, it does not. It's very nice. Ooh, I just ate some of it. Use my fan. I like the smell of it. I'm just gonna lightly take my sponge and press down any powdery finish. I'm just gonna set my brows with a clear brow gel. This one's from Hourglass. Okay, now that everything is done on the skin, I actually really like just the entire look. Hang on, I've gotta get rid of some mascara marks underneath my lower lash line. There we go, that's a little better. But things look really smooth and they feel super lightweight on the skin. Like it hardly feels like I'm wearing anything, which is nice. And it's something that I feel like would be what you kind of want when it comes to an everyday type of complexion product. Especially moving into fall and winter as the months get a little bit colder, I could see myself reaching for something like this. Obviously, we're gonna need to do a wear test to really get our first impressions on it, but I honestly feel like it looks really nice and smooth, and seriously, it feels like I just have a nice moisturizer on. I really liked the setting mist. And I don't feel like it looks too greasy. That's kind of what I'm worried about. We'll see how it wears again, like I said. But as of right now, I love the finish of it. Like it just makes my skin look healthy, but it's not oily. I'm super excited to see how this wears. So it's currently 11:06 a.m. of course, and we're gonna wear this all day. I'm really excited to see how it wears. I don't mind that there's some skin imperfections showing through. I feel like it adds to the natural look. So let's go ahead and do our wear test. Before we do that, I'm gonna show you a comparison from before makeup to the finished application, and then we'll do another side-by-side later to see how it wore. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and do our wear test. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Wow, it is bright and sunny today, my friends. So I'm by the window and I wanted to show you guys what the makeup looks like in natural light. I'm actually very impressed at what the complexion looks like. I feel like I really do look fresh, which is, you know, like the title of the entire collection. So I'm super excited to see how this wears. Obviously, the wear test is gonna really show us how good this is, but based off of my first impressions and how it looks right now, I really love it. It looks smooth, but it looks natural. It looks like my skin, but better. So let's keep wearing it and we'll see how things go today. Hello, so I'm here for another check-in. It is currently 5 p.m., which means I've been wearing this foundation for about 6 hours now. Honestly, I really like how it looks. The coverage doesn't really seem to be fading, and the finish so far is about the same. It looks a little bit more dewy maybe on the forehead, but honestly not anything crazy. I keep catching glimpses of myself in the mirror in the kitchen, and I really do feel like my face looks really fresh and really nice and pretty smooth as well. So so far am really enjoying it. I'm going to continue to wear it throughout the rest of the night, and we'll see if it keeps holding up, because so far so good. For 6 hours with a tinted moisturizer, I'm actually impressed. So I'll see you guys in a little bit for my next check-in. All right, you guys, so I'm back in the studio and it is currently 8:52 p.m., so almost 9 o'clock, which means I've been wearing this makeup for about 10 hours now. Okay, I'm gonna come up a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. You guys, honestly, I've been really impressed throughout the day, especially because this is a tinted moisturizer. I have loved how my complexion looked. I wasn't expecting this foundation to have longevity since it is a tinted moisturizer, but my skin looked really fresh all day. My husband said he liked it better than some of my other foundations because it still looked like skin, and I have to agree. It wasn't until the past hour or so that I started to notice a little bit of breaking up around my nose and a little bit around the mouth area. That usually happens with any foundation. The fact that it just barely started happening and it's a tinted moisturizer really does floor me. So I feel like this has great longevity, even though there are no longevity claims on this. I also loved the finish of it. I didn't touch up with powder once throughout the day, and it's crazy because usually with any foundation, my skin looks way more oily than this, especially at like the 9-hour mark. I almost feel like maybe because there's hyaluronic acid and so many hydrating ingredients in there, my skin didn't really overwork or produce too much oil because everything was really balanced and hydrated. I don't know. I'm just kind of saying that out loud. I don't know if that's factual or anything like that, but I'm just kind of feeling like that's what's been going on. So I've been really impressed by this today. I definitely will be reaching for it again. I liked everything. I'm really excited about both the primer and the setting spray. The setting spray was beautiful. I'm actually like a little bit more excited about the spray than the primer, but I am going to continue to use both. I genuinely loved the sponge, you guys. You know how I am about my sponges. I stick to just a couple. I like a certain texture in a sponge, and this is awesome. I also love the shape of it, and I love the color. I think it's a really cute color, so I definitely enjoyed that. A thumbs up on this tinted moisturizer, you guys. Honestly, I was not expecting to love this as much as I did, and I feel like it's because Colourpop doesn't make my favorite complexion products. Their other foundations that I've tried are okay to me, and their concealers even are okay. I just feel like some of their complexion products, besides their blushes and things, just haven't really worked well on my skin, but this, on the other hand, has worked absolutely amazing, and it's definitely my favorite foundation that they've launched so far. So I'm going to put up a side-by-side comparison so you guys can see how it looked after being freshly applied up until 9 hours later. I'm always curious to see this side-by-side just because it helps me get a better idea of how the makeup exactly wore, and if it wore off in certain areas, what those were. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. I'm overall super excited about this line, and I can't wait to keep wearing it. I definitely feel like it's something that I'm going to be reaching for on an everyday basis. I'm not sure if it would be something that I would reach for a special occasion, just because I usually like to have a little bit more coverage in my products for like a night out. But with that being said, it's a great everyday product. Like, I still love how it looks, and I feel like I could still wear it for a few more hours after this and it wouldn't look expired. So I'm excited about everything. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. Well, that's it for today. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!